I'll be talking about today. Points of discussion, I will introduce, give context of the study. I can jump this one because it's about the National Archives. So, what is it and why the study is based there? So I wrote this paper addressing the problems that we're dealing with because it is for you guys in the National Archives. Then I will talk about the purpose and the objectives. The literature might just also run over it because of time. Then I will talk about the research methodology, the findings and the recommendations. Yeah, I'm gonna struggle here. Let me take it a bit up. Now, this is what I will be talking about. So, in the fifth industrial revolution, in the advent of the fifth industrial revolution, artificial intelligence has the ability to manage archives and records adequately. Because there's literature that is backing that it can indeed assist the National Archives to manage archives and records adequately. Through the application of the intelligent robotic and cobetic machines, archives and record can be digitized, can be preserved in the cloud storage facilities, managed through AI embedded software and application, and accessed through smart technology. In the context of this study, intelligent robotic machines refers to AI embedded machineries that can be used to mimic human intelligence in digitalizing the archival records quicker and faster. So we are no longer talking digitization, we are talking about digitalization through robotic and cobetic machines that are intelligent, that are able to mimic what an archivist or a record manager can do. So just be a bit threatened because we're talking about something that can do what you do. But I like the fifth industrial revolution. Let's continue. The application of AI has the ability to ensure that archives are managed effectively, and the application of AI has the ability to ensure that archives are accessed quicker and faster. So what is happening here, ladies and gentlemen, is to enable you to manage your archival records quicker and faster through the use of AI embedded software and applications, or through intelligent robotic and cobetic machines in the fifth industrial revolution. AI is a margin of computer science that focuses on construction of intelligent machineries that function like human intelligence. So it cut across computer science, it cut across engineering, and now when we talk about record management, it also cut across our field, which is archives and record management. It refers to a programmed robotic and cobetic machines and AI-powered computer programs and software. They are capable of automatically carrying out difficult sequence of activities, such as digitalization of archival records, in a quick way or in a faster way of doing that. When we talk about 5IR, we are talking about the application of intelligent robotic machines, intelligent cobot. Cobot is a collaborative robot. It is able to collaborate with human intelligence. That can be used to digitalize archives. We also talk about the application of Internet of Things. I presented a paper 2 weeks back in the Department of Information Science with regard to how Internet of Things can be used to allow archivists to access records quicker and faster. It will be presented at SAPICA as well. Cloud computing is one of the technology that can be used to secure our records or our archives in the cloud. And blockchain, I've seen a presentation on blockchain that is coming. All these technologies is to ensure that archival records are adequately digitalized, managed, and accessed easily and quickly. When we talk 5IR, because it's a new phenomenon, I don't know if you are following. Are you following? Yes. Okay. It's a new phenomenon that I'm bringing to you today for engagement and for debate. So I will stick a bit on it. When we talk 5IR, we are actually referring to a collaboration between artificial intelligence and human intelligence. People were scared in the 4IR that they will lose their jobs. So the leaders in the industry recognized that and added collaboration between artificial intelligence and human intelligence, which means artificial intelligence alone is not enough. Human intelligence or natural intelligence will also have to contribute in ensuring that records are managed effectively and adequately. Cometic machines is called a collaborative robot. It is called collaborative robot. It's a robot intended for direct human interaction or direct human-robot interaction within a shared space where humans and robots are in proximity, which means there will be that collaboration between archivists and robotics. Cometic machines collaborate with human intelligence to ensure that different tasks are performed and taken care of. Cobots will then be used in the fifth industrial revolution to digitalize our records. Once records are digitalized through the use of artificial intelligence, which is cobotic machines in this case, managed and accessed through AI embedded software and applications, such archival records can be accessed anywhere and anytime through the internet and smart computer technology. Digital archives are usually created with the goal of preserving historical objects and making them available to researchers and general public. Digital archives are similar in purpose to physical archives, but the historical documents and objects that provide evidence of the past that have been digitalized and made available digitally. So we are actually moving from electronic platform to digital platform. AI can be used to digitalize the archival records in the archival institution. And when we talk digitalization, we are talking a process of converting archival records into digital records through intelligent robotic, through intelligent cometic machines, and through AI embedded software and application. I'm speaking three concepts here: cometic machines, robotic machines, and AI embedded application and platforms that will enable us to digitalize our archival records easy and quicker and make access as such. The digitalization of archival records will ensure that records are digitally managed, retrieved, and accessed digitally through smart computer technology such as smart laptops, smartphones, and smart tablets. So we are going to access them through smart computer technology. In archival institution, through AI, will manage the digital archives, preserve archives in the cloud-based facilities, and access them through digital archives as well by using AI embedded software and application, and also through computer technology. Hence, this study investigates the application of artificial intelligence for management of digital archives at NERSA. So this study is for NERSA, and we are now proposing the utilization of robotic machines and cometic machines to digitalize the records. This is the context of the study, why we are doing it at NERSA, but basically issues of managing paper-based record being converted to digital records by virtue of your status and the number of records that you are producing on a daily basis or you are managing. We feel like it is the right time to move from paper-based electronic to digital industry. That's what the context is all about. And with regard to the problem statement, the problem that led to this study is that archives are not digitalized at NERSA, and that makes them not to be easily and quickly located or accessed or managed adequately. This means archives are not managed fully digital at the National Archives of South Africa. This means that at the National Archives of South Africa, archives and records are managed manually, Hence, it might be difficult to manage records since they can be misplaced, they can be misfiled, they can be misshelved, and it is easy to get the records damaged. So, though NERSA is also using the electronic record management systems to manage the records, the system is not embedded to the cloud storage facility. And such can overload and crash if the number of records preserved can surpass the system capacity. Though NERSA is in the process of digitization, the process will only focus on converting paper-based records to electronic records and be managed by a system that is not cloud-based and AI embedded. And as such, or as a result, the system can still overload and crash. However, the application of artificial intelligence has the ability to digitalize the archives and records through intelligent robotic machines and ensure that the records are stored in a cloud storage facility and can be accessed anywhere, can be accessed anytime, and can be easily managed through robotic machines and cobotic machines. That's what led to this study. So I want to believe some of you will relate to the problems that I have read to you. And you will also understand why you need to move to the digital industry. That is the fifth industrial revolution. Are you following? The digital records can also be preserved in the AI cloud computing technology and also be transferred to the digital archives embedded in the cloud, which means you can still have a digital archive that is embedded in the cloud, which therefore enables all the provinces that are under the National Archives to even be able to share records digitally without sending messengers from Northern Cape to Pretoria. You can quickly access them through the cloud. The purpose of this study is therefore to investigate the application of AI to manage the digital archives at NERSA in the fifth industrial revolution. I think I tried my level best to explain what the fifth industrial revolution is all about. Did I do so? But you are quiet. Did I explain it much better, the fifth industrial revolution? The objective of this study is to propose a framework on how to apply AI to manage records, digital archives for that matter, at NERSA in the fifth industrial revolution. So I'm here to propose to you a framework that you can follow to digitalize your records through intelligent robotic and cobotic machine. This study is based on 3 archival activities that can be transformed because we are speaking digital transformation. I'm based this study just on 3 archival activities that can be managed through artificial intelligence. The first one is archival classification. You know that when we do the archival classification, we are just grouping similar information together. And where we are, you are doing it manually, which means you manually classify records before you shelve them so that similar records can be classified together. But through artificial intelligence, through robotic machines and cobotic machines, they are able to auto-classify. In the fourth industrial revolution, a robot will do that without your intervention. But in the fifth industrial revolution, a cobot will do that with your intervention, which means human intelligence, artificial intelligence will have to come together to ensure that archives are classified and stored together, as long as they speak one language or they talk about one subject. That is one archival classification activity that I think we can embed artificial intelligence. The second one is archival storage. This one goes without saying. We have to store our records somewhere. We have to store our archives somewhere. But like I've alluded, where we are storing them today is in the cabinet. That can be full sometimes. And that archives can can be misshelved. So it's a problem. Or we do have electronic management system that is not embedded in the cloud, and it can crash anytime. And I know we are using shelves as a backup system. It can burn. That building can burn anytime. What are you going to do if the building burn and your system crash today as we are sitting here? It's a problem that we'll have to face. Hence, we should now move our records to the cloud, or the systems that we employ should be cloud embedded. And artificial intelligence, cloud computing technology is here to address that we can preserve our records in the cloud. The last one, which I think is also paramount, is archival retrieval. Now that records are auto-classified through robotic machines and cobotic machines, now that records are stored in the cloud, can we retrieve them? And how fast can we do so? Ladies and gentlemen, it is easy to do so through robotic machines and cobotic machines. I'm trying to address the two worlds at the same time, the 4IR and the 5IR. You will choose where you belong, or you will decide where you go. Do you go the robotic ways, or do you go the cobotic way? So it is your decision. Both of them can ensure that you access records or you retrieve records anywhere and anytime through AI embedded application and software. So I talked about 3 archival activities. The first one is classification, the second one is storage, and the last one is retrieval. That I think are paramount where we are sitting. We can talk about others next time. What is the infrastructure that is required? The first thing that we need is a robotic machine. An example of a robotic machine is the so-called in America, because these machines are there already. There's a machine in America called Ripcord Robot. Ripcord Robot is developed by a company called Ripcord. This machine can even remove the staples. You don't have to remove the staples using your hand or other resources that are at your disposal. This robot called Ripcord Robot can even remove the staples. This robot can auto-digitalize. This robot can auto-classify. It can preserve archival records in the cloud or even the local server that is embedded, of course, to the cloud. And it can also enable easy embed. The two concepts we cannot do without in the 5IR or in the 4IR. Then the question is, how strong is your internet? If it is not strong, management must work on it so that it will enable the retrieval, the classification, and the storage of archival records in the cloud and be managed through robotic machines and cobotic machines. The second thing that is needed as an infrastructure is a cobot. You can have both if you have got money, or you can go with one of them. But the two can also collaborate. Cobots and robots can still collaborate, which means you can have 3 collaboration: cobot, robots, human intelligence. Nothing can substitute natural intelligence. Nothing can substitute human intelligence. We don't need machines to replace us. But if you are not careful, there will be a problem, which means archivists and record managers must either reskill or upskill. Make yourself important. You must be needed in the fraternity. But if you do common things, you are going to be replaced. I normally tell colleagues in the library space that if your job is to shelve books, be careful, because you will be replaced very soon. So upskill. We want students who can study this phenomena, and the research can take you far. Now, where am I? You see now, I even forget my. Now, When we talk cobots, we are actually talking about a cobot called Sawyer Cobot. It is also in the state. So we need to go to America, the National Archivist. Don't forget me when you are going there. This robot is by Pemley Graham and is manufactured by Sawyer is delivered as an cobot solution equipped with powerful software and integrated camera systems. What it does, with collaboration, of course, it can digitalize, it can scan your records with a high resolution scanner and camera. But it will need the help of archivists because technology is not here to fight us. We have to embrace it. So we have got two robots. We have got a Ripcord robot from the 4IR because Ripcord can digitalize without you. Now entering the fifth industrial revolution, we have got the so-called a cobot that collaborate with human intelligence. And I think you are interested here. Am I wrong? Okay. We do have to have automated classification algorithm. These algorithms are embedded in cobotics, in robotics, and it is what makes them intelligent. It is not every robot that is intelligent, or not any cobot that is intelligent. What makes them unique and intelligent is the AI algorithms. We talk classification, automated classification algorithm. I said a robot can auto-classify. It is through this algorithm that it can be able to auto-classify, that it can be able to auto-digitalize. It is through this algorithm that we can have our records in the cloud classified together. You don't have to do anything. This algorithm will sort your records, will classify your records robotically. The second one is machine learning algorithm. A machine learning algorithm basically gives a robot or makes a robot or cobot intelligent so that a robot or a cobot won't be needing programming again, which means a robot can only be programmed once. Imagine now we have to travel to America every month to take it for reprogramming because there's a word that it did not understand. But through a machine learning algorithm, it can learn on its own the new concept that we are throwing. So we don't have to go and program it again, bring it back, no, we don't do that. But through a machine learning algorithm, a robot or a cobot can just program itself. I don't know if I make sense. Now, we also have the so-called the natural language processing algorithm. I only took 3 as well. There are others. We still have the deep learning. We'll talk about them next time. But for now, I only focus on 3. The natural language processing algorithm is basically an algorithm that teaches the robot to recognize our voices. We do have the so-called a voice technology, a voice-over technology, whereby you speak a word and a robot will definitely produce the results. So it is through this natural language processing algorithm that will be able to search for the records through computer technology. I talked about retrieval. These algorithms allow retrieval of records in embedded database that we are using to retrieve records. It allows searching, a quick searching of archives and records. Remember, I said anywhere, anytime, which means you can have a database embedded in your cell phone. And through natural language processing algorithm, you should be able to search for the archive, locate the archive, decide as to whether you print it, you store it, or you send it via email. It is through this algorithm. I won't dwell much on the research methodology, but basically this study is a qualitative study. This study is based on content analysis, whereby we review articles, chapters, blogs, and others. And the keywords in this case was artificial intelligence, the fifth industrial revolution, and archival storage and access. And things like Google Scholar, databases, and others were used to source information is the methodology. And I'm here to provoke you to take this thing further. I do have a student I've recruited in your office that is interested in the same thing. Surely next year they will do masters. And I also recruit you guys to start thinking about that. Yeah, I'm chewing your time. Let me move. I will finish soon. I think I've got a few slides now. Okay. Sorry? The whole day. Let me now go on. So I am now here to provoke you to start thinking cobotic and robotic. And the only way, remember I talked about upskilling and reskilling. The only way you will be relevant in the fraternity is when you upskill and you reskill. Otherwise, you are going to be rendered not important anymore in the fraternity. So we have got options to deal with this. What are the findings of this study? AI can enable NASA to manage their digital archives adequately. I think by now you can agree with me based on what I've presented, that if you adopt intelligent robotics, intelligent cobotics, you will definitely be able to manage your digital archives. Firstly, you'll be able to digitalize, and secondly, you'll be able to manage them. Management also speaks about access to digital archives. NESA can perform and manage the following archival activities through artificial intelligence. Number one, automated classification through robotic machines and cobotic machines. Digital archives can be auto-classified. What I like about robots is that they are perfect when they do activities. They are not getting lazy. They don't go out for lunch, a long lunch, and they don't get tired. No smoking break. They work. And these robots, look, when the battery is flat, they can even go charge themselves. Yes. I do have videos here, but I'll play them on Friday because I'm still coming. On Friday, I will play some videos for both robotics. Through cloud storage facilities embedded in a robotic or a cobotic machine, archival records can be stored in the cloud facilities. And I'm aware that even the systems that you are using, they are not integrated. I think it's a South African problem. I did a study at CSIR. Each section that manages records do have their own system that is not even integrated. So the artificial intelligence is here to address that. And I talked collaboration, right? So I want to hear a question of, am I going to lose my job? You will only lose your job if you don't upskill, if you don't reskill. Now your records will be stored or preserved in the cloud through cloud-based electronic record management system. Why that? For sufficient storage, for easy access and protection of archival records. Access to archival records can be accessed anywhere. I've said something about. Can I talk about protection? Just a bit. Protection in the sense that when your records or archives are stored in the cloud, you can secure them. And one of the things that you can do, you can encrypt your records with codes and passwords. Or even the cloud itself can be protected. That's where now you involve your IT people to come with protection measures. But what you can do to your records, apart from the software that are needed to protect the cloud on its own, because your cloud must be protected. You are housing confidential information. So your cloud must be protected. But you can still encrypt password and codes on it. I won't speak the whole day, don't worry. I'll finish now. Machine learning algorithms can be used to improve the status of archival records as the robotic and cobotic machines interact with human intelligence. So the status of archival records will be improved because there's collaboration. Nothing can beat collaboration. Even us as archivists, we are only productive when we collaborate. Am I wrong? Am I wrong, colleagues? Do you collaborate on your projects? Yeah, collaboration is important. Nothing can beat the power of collaboration. So the status of archival records will improve because of the collaboration across cobotics, robotics, and human intelligence. The NLP algorithm has the ability to assist in improving searching interface. I said NLP, that is the natural language processing algorithm, is for searching. So that interface can be improved because it will be embedded with artificial intelligence programs. Your databases, your electronic record management system will be embedded with AI software and applications that will be able to ensure that your records are quickly accessed. One of the other things that I must also focus on is the so-called ChatGPT. Are you aware of ChatGPT? Are you aware of it? So it can also be embedded so that people outside the archives can use it to communicate with archivists, because it creates a platform whereby as an archivist you will think you are speaking to another archivist. That's how powerful that platform is. Robotic machines have the ability to digitalize, because that's the first thing. We need to digitalize. Ladies and gentlemen, the strength of artificial intelligence and human intelligence will be combined to digitalize the archival records adequately. Digital archives can be stored in the cloud and be secured with encrypted security codes and passwords for protection. And digital records can be accessed anywhere. Recommendations. Then I go home. I go to Pretoria. This section presents the framework proposed for the application of artificial intelligence to manage digital archives at NERSA. Not in the 4IR. The developed countries are no longer talking 4IR. They are already in the 5IR since 2020. Since 2020, 3 years back. So we are still struggling with the 4IR. And the other thing before I move, we must also start looking into our policies. We need to review our policies to allow the adoption of artificial intelligence or the 5IR technology. The deputy minister was here yesterday, and I was saddened by the fact that she didn't see my thesis. She quoted people, but did not quote me. The application of artificial intelligence can benefit NERSA to manage their digital archives effectively and efficiently in the digital industry. Through robotic and cobotic machines embedded with AI cloud storage technology, AI infrastructure, digital archives, and access devices, NERSA can be able to digitalize their paper-based and electronic records to digital archives and accessed digitally as presented in figure 1. So, because when you talk about paper-based and electronic, you are still electronic, you are not digital. So digitalization is when we transform and turn our archives into digital industry. So this is figure number 1. This is a framework that I'm proposing to you. And this paper will be, hey, there's no water here. This paper is going to be published because I've got a draft paper already that I'm going to publish either in an international journal or a local journal. Thank you. No, I'm giving you the chance to just scan the framework when I'm still drinking water. Does it make sense? It doesn't. You can't see. Okay. You are forcing me to share the presentation. I'll share the presentation. In this framework, both paper-based records and electronic records are digitalized through a robotic and cobotic machine and converted into digital archives. There's a collaboration there of robotic and cobotic to digitalize or convert your electronic records into digital archives. Paper-based and electronic archives are then auto-classified through automate classification algorithm and robotically stored in the cloud storage facility through intelligent robotic and cobotic machines. Digital archives with enduring value can be transferred to digital archives, and those with ending lifespan can automatically be disposed through a machine learning algorithm. So even disposal is automatic. Records with enduring value will automatically be transferred to digital archives. That is embedded in your cloud. Am I making sense? That automatically records that are ending in terms of life will be automatically removed in the cloud through a machine learning algorithm. Using NLP, the users will be able to search for the digital archives through either a title or a subject on the intelligent database. Because I said NLP do enable the searching of archives through a title or through a subject. So it will be easy for you to access your records. Digital archives will then be accessed through a smart computer technology that is connected to a network and internet. So now when they are in the cloud, NLP will enable easy access or easy searching, and you can use your smart technology to access them. But what is needed, ladies and gentlemen, is internet, is data. Because without them, you cannot operate in the 5IR. Digital archives can either be stored in the local server of a laptop. You can also print it or send it through an email, depending on what the user downloaded the digital archives for. Cobotic machines collaborate with robotic machines and human intelligence to digitalize the archival record effectively and efficiently. Digital archives can also be stored in the cloud storage facility for unlimited, easy access. So one nice thing about cloud storage facility is, but you have to pay for it as well. You must buy the space in terabytes. So the archive can live for years before the space get full. So you must buy the space in terabytes, of course. So, but what I'm trying to say is that you can have access to unlimited, easy access through the cloud. Digital archives can also be protected with encrypted security codes, and other measures can be applied to ensure that the cloud is protected. This is the last slide now on conclusion. This study proposed a framework, ladies and gentlemen, to apply artificial intelligence to digitalize and manage digital technology. Paper-based and electronic records can be digitalized, stored in the cloud storage facility for easy access and secured protection of archival records. Digital archives with enduring value will be transferred to digital archives, and those reach their lifespan automatically will be disposed. And through the internet, the users can be able to search for digital archives through intelligent databases. Such digital archives can be accessed through smart technology, regardless of place and regardless of place. Here is a video of a report that I wanted to play for you. It's very interesting. And here is a video of Sewe Quote that I wanted to play for you, but I'll do so on Friday. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for the opportunity. And this is the end of my presentation. May I get a round of applause? I thought it's a provocation. I was just provoking you. Any question?
Hello. My name is Johan Peters. I do implement management solutions, as well as I've implemented the Atom at the National Archives. Doctor, first thing is Atom is cloud-based already, so they're already in that sense, as well as it's a centralized database where all the departments are supposed to be contributing to. So they're supposed to load the records onto the central database. The question I have is, or the statement first is that for AI to work, you need information, data. I don't mean data to upload the stuff. I mean you need records for it to work. So the first thing is that from experience, I mean, I've been in this industry for 30 years plus, people don't upload or don't manage their records properly, first of all. So the archives don't get the proper records to actually have an archival institution that's properly constituted. So your opinion on, generally the records lie on, if you look at the department, and I also work for a state department, records are all over the show. We have two systems in our department, not talking to each other. How do we get all those records to be centralized into an archival repository to be then accessible? So that's the first thing. The second thing is that I think you scared a bit of us with saying that you need to upskill and otherwise you won't have a job. I believe we're still a bit away from that. And I also do believe that you need to be upskilled. You need to become a digital archivist. There's no sense in being a paper archivist. I was in a conference about 2 years ago and people stood up and clapped when the person said how good the paper world is. And then he said to the people, you shouldn't clap. You should be worried that it should be electronic. And in the sense of the National Archives, I worked very closely with them. They are starting to digitize their stuff. If you scan stuff, because that's what we all see as digitization is you scan documents. Contextualizing those scanned documents is actually an issue because people seem not to fully understand always what is digitization? It's not just scanning documents, it's scanning the documents into context, cataloging and arranging and describing them into context. And I find that is sometimes a bit of a problem. So that's just my feeling, and your comments, please.
I think I'll comment on the systems that are working in isolation. I think the other one, the last one was kind of a comment, if I got it very right. Yeah, but on the issue of isolated systems, it's simple. I mean, I just advise on the issue of digitalization. Because if you opt to go with artificial intelligence, automatically you are integrating the systems. Because artificial intelligence has the capability to integrate all your systems into one manageable and intelligent system. Hence, I talked about digitalizing electronic records, paper-based records, and convert them into digital archives. Now you are now working on one system through artificial intelligence. So all these isolated systems can be embedded into one system through artificial intelligence. So my opinion there is that without any waste of time, we should move to the fifth industrial revolution. We should move to robotics and cobotics so that we can have one system, and not just one system that is intelligent, that will enable you to manage your archives adequately. And I'm glad, because now we dealt with the issue of upskilling and reskilling or going home, as you have said. I'm glad the deputy minister indicated yesterday that there is money. No, she said it already. I watched on Facebook. She said there's money for digitalization. She said the president gave them money. Yeah, but it's money, right? Yes, there's money. So let us start with the process of not digitization. I understand you are busy with digitization. Let's upgrade a bit and transform the whole archival institution. We can start at the national office, because anyway we'll be piloting the system. And if it works for us, we can now move to the provinces. If it works well in the provinces, we can just take it down in that particular order. So the first thing that we must do, we must be the researchers. I'm encouraging colleagues to research. And I'm glad the deputy minister said the National Archives must avail money for you to study artificial intelligence. We are ready at the University of South Africa to welcome US students. And like I indicated, there is one that I've recruited among your colleagues who's going to study under my supervision. It might be on the similar topic, because somebody must come in and broaden it up to look into issues of policy, to look into issues of user perception. What are people saying about this? On Friday, I'll talk a bit about the state of readiness. There's a model that I want to present on Friday. But I only saw yesterday that I'm also speaking on Friday. So I'm yet to prepare that presentation. But what I'm telling you is that let's move quickly to digitalization so that we can have one integrated, intelligent system, either through a robot or a cobot. Let's go to America, National Archives. America can be even, it can even join us visually. We can set up a Teams meeting or any other visual meeting with the guys from Ripcord to say, we are interested. That will be the first machine in the country. I said the same to the Council for Scientific Research. I told them that this research, my PhD, was based there. What are you going to do about it? It seems like they're still sleeping. And I'm glad the National Archives has interest. And if you check your little sister or your sister, the other side, the National Library of South Africa, they are 2 steps ahead in terms of robotics and cobotics. So what I'm trying to say is that let's quickly move to the digital industry. And through moving to the digital industry, we'll have one integrated intelligent system that we use to manage our archives adequately. Thank you very much. Unless there's something, I'll be short now when I respond. I want to present another presentation.
Yeah, thank you, Doc. And thank you, Johan, also for picking up on those challenges that we have been experiencing basically as we are embarking on this journey of transforming our archival services from the traditional sort of approach to the modern approach. One challenge that we often face as the archives is that archives, whether we like it or not, whether we are in the modern space or not, we are an institution or a service of the past because we look after what has been done years ago and we take it to the future. Now, the challenge that we are facing is that when you talk about 4IR and 5IR, this is from here going forward. And I don't have a problem with that in archives because we can implement systems from now going into the future. Our biggest challenge is what is still behind us, what is still in our past. And I do appreciate the fact that there is now technology that has been developed for the robotic technologies to arrange, describe, and all sorts. But I think it also goes back to the context issue that was raised by the previous speaker or sort of commenter that South Africa, the South African system, the traditional South African systems are are not aligned to the world systems. That I have learned the hard way when I joined the National Archives, because I come from the library background as well. And I found that everything in the archives that I thought would be standard is actually different. So South Africa has operated for years in isolation and not sort of moved its systems, standards, methods in line and in sync with the developments of the international standards, which is what the robotic systems 5IR, 4IR are developed around. And that is our biggest challenge in South Africa, because how do we first align with the international standards retrospectively to be able to take what we are bringing from the past into the future? I think that and all that will come into play, but I think those are minor issues. But at the end of the day, it boils down to what you say. We need to be researchers. We need to work very hard. We need to first embrace this new technology and actually say, let's work with it into the future. But I believe and I agree with your comment that let's not try to take the past and twist it and to inform what we want to do in future. Let's take it from where we are and see how can we use what we have now to correct and deal with our past, because we have tried aligning the traditional systems into the digital space, and we have struggled. We are still struggling, because just to digitize a collection that was arranged in the 80s, we've got to rearrange it. We've got to start all over again. Each and every collection, we've got to do that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It looks like it was a comment, but I can comment a bit on the comment. Okay.
I'd like us to keep the comments quite short and the questions quite concise, because we are running out of time. The next comment is...
Can I comment before I forget? I'm not writing. Just a bit. The reason why South Africa is where it is today is because we failed to debate issues. We just only caught the flight when it's already in the 4IR. We don't know what happened in the 3rd IR. And I noticed as a researcher in the space that we are also forgetting that 5IR is already here. While we are still talking, not even implementing the 4IR, people have passed that. They are in the 5th industrial revolution. So had I have initiated a project to start a debate on the 5IR, that we need to be moving with reasons. It's a direct translation. So we need to start engaging in these issues. The second one is the issue of research that we have touched on. When I was doing a study on artificial intelligence, I struggled with literature, especially when coming to Africa, the whole of Africa. There was no a single study, an academic study for that matter, for me to substantiate my arguments in as far as artificial intelligence is concerned. I even went abroad. I also struggled. Just one paper here. Many people are writing blogs in state. There are too many blogs on artificial intelligence than academic researched material. So that is why, Chair, we must research and publish about this thing in the context of Africa, in the context of South Africa. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Mine is to check as to, you spoke about the issue of money. How much do we need for this cobotics and robotics and the whole infrastructure that you showed us there? Then the second one, okay, the second one is a comment to say this is for the National Archives, meaning the paper-based records. Another study is being done, actually just started for film or audiovisual archiving, and then it will be done by Ms. Ngala. She will present at the upcoming or forthcoming Sabika conference taking place in August.
And we need to incorporate artificial intelligence for audiovisual records as well. Millions.
How many?
We can check that one, but we need money. Like the deputy minister was very clear with you that it is going to be a very expensive exercise. It is going to, remember, another thing that you must also take into account is the training of archivists. It is not only the system, because we still have to train archivists on how to operate this robotics. But money, we have got money in South Africa. A lot of it. We just have to use it efficiently. Not in your bank account, of course. But money will research and get a proper system and also customize it. We don't have to take everything. We look into things that we think they can work for us and we discard the rest.
Thank you so much. If there was a way, I will make you a minister of records management and archives.
I will gladly take that.
Thank you. Thanks. What a presentation. My name is Jabu Senim Katingi, National Archives Advisory Council.
We have got the council here. Can you see that we will get the robot?
Yeah, I'm impressed by your presentation. The quite number of issues have been mentioned by my colleagues. We are looking, it means it started at 1. So 1, 2, 3, where were we?
Sleeping.
Now it's 4. Now it's 5. Things are full with papers.
Yes.
So I don't know if we're going to have another robot that we're going to name it, or we'll just deal with the cobotic and the robotic to classify those paper-based records, which are not even classified within the institutions. But that is a challenge that we're facing. Even when we move faster, there is no way we can ignore those documents. So we need to name a robot, whether it's Russia, which is going to name this time, or it's America, it's fine. But we need to address that environment, and then so that we'll be able to move. There is an issue of oral history.
Oral history.
Yes. where does it fit in when it comes to this issue of us moving to the fifth industrial revolution, while we have not yet addressed the fourth industrial revolution? Based on papers and presentations, we have moved quite very well. But practically, if you can name the institutions which have already addressed the 4IR fully, I can be very happy before we even talk about the fifth industrial revolution. But let us move as a country, but we'll need lots and lots of money. Here we are not talking about millions, we are talking about billions. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you very much.
the oral history.
Can I
Oral
just comment before?
Yeah.
Before we just respond to that, just to add on the comments what the previous commenter was saying, it's, how can I put this? We talk about paper all the time, and paper is a big challenge within all institutions, basically, from national to local government. Through my experience, what I think the greatest challenge is that it's culture and people. These are the two things that I've actually observed to be the hurdles to get where we need to be. People, culture. These two things are missing. So we can speak about even the sixth industrial revolution. I really think that, Doctor, that, we will have big problems if we don't address these two issues. So that's my take on this thing. But I do have some questions. But I'd just like to give Mr. Kekana the last question or comment. But advocate, okay, right. Before I ask, or should we first ask and then go online? Are you ready there? Or should I just, okay, let me just finish up here. So, we speak about not the fourth, but, informatics is one of my, sort of something that I like doing on the side. Through your presentation, I started thinking and I started going through other things that I've seen before. And the question is that with all of this machines thinking actually for humans, what are the dangers that are there? Because I've seen documentaries and I've read articles on some machines where, because they are learning on themselves, to fix themselves, and to charge themselves, and to upgrade themselves, what else are these machines learning? And one of the videos, it was for a military institution where the machine actually taught itself to rebuild itself and start attacking the individuals that were working in the factory. I think this happened in Japan or something like that. True story. Yeah. So with these, where I'm going with this is that with these kind of, just looking at records, and are the machines most probably, or is there a way that the machines actually will be able to learn how to actually choose what is important and what is not important? You've addressed that in one way or the other on your presentation. So why I'm asking this, are the machines able maybe to, not able, most probably the machines will be able to do that, to machines to be biased? Because the first thing is, a human is programming this thing. So if a human is programming at inception, so the machine basically at the root can go according to whoever programmed and start programming in a similar style. Why am I saying this? If you go on Google and you put in something like beautiful women and you're looking for images, you'll find one group of women basically that are displayed to us, and it's white women. What about the Indian women? You understand? What about black women or something like that? So the systems already that are there are already biased to certain questions. So what I'm asking that to archival material, this robo ripcord, have they taken this into account?
Remember, comrade,
Why you call me that?
you look like one. I'm joking.
Very far.
Okay. Chair, when coming to the issue of bias, let me just put it in this way. A robot or AI programmed interface is able to capture your digital footprint. Even on your phone, comrade, if you search a lot on artificial intelligence, time and again, when you search, you'll be reminded of what you have done before. Even on Google, when you search for anything, what you normally search will be displayed. That is a digital footprint. So what we search the most will be recommended the most. That is the only bias that I can pick from robotics and cobotics. That what you search time and again will reflect time and again because it's what you search time and again. When I talk to other colleagues in the other space, I normally say, when you use Google to program your phone or to make your phone work, and normally you need a Google Gmail, right? For you to set it up. And when you use the same Gmail with your wife, right? Whatever you search on your phone reflects the other side because you have left a digital footprint. So if you are a person of searching for pornography, the wife is able to see that this is what you do when you are online because you are connected through a Gmail, which is cloud embedded or cloud based. So it's a footprint. So the bias is that whatever you search time and again will keep on reflecting. But in how it must interact with people, there will be no bias because it's programmed. When somebody approaches you, react like this. It's programmed to do that. We've got a robot in the University of Pretoria, for example, in the library. Then when they were testing it, the other guy said to the robot, "May you marry me?" The robot said, "Unfortunately, I don't have the capabilities to be a wife." Do you get my point? Which means you only reap what you sow. How you want it to operate is how you program it. But you spoke about the disadvantages of robotics. There are a lot of disadvantages. Everything in life has its own pros and cons. Even sitting there is a disadvantage. For you to stand there, you can collapse. There is always a disadvantage of everything, even the best technology. Now, Apple has came up with a very powerful machine that will cost around 70,000. It has augmented visual reality. So, but what I'm trying to say here is that, and you gave a good example. You get this robot to come and digitalize. Instead, it destroys the records. There is such a possibility, but it's rare. It's a rare possibility that it is called malfunctioning. It can malfunction. Another disadvantage is that we can over-depend on a robot. And as we over-depend on a robot, we even forget the core, what we went to school for, because it's over-reliance. But it doesn't have human touch. It doesn't have human touch. But just to counter that, I was speaking to a colleague yesterday. This guy who owns Twitter. He's in a mission to come up with a wife. I don't know, I should say a robotic wife. Yes. Remember the limitations of robots. Researchers were saying they don't have social effects. They were saying they are still there. I forgot the name of the robot. The robots do not have social effects. They are those with social effects, but they were saying they are not there yet. And through this guy, we are already there because it can socialize, it can dance and do all other functions that a wife can do. And you are worried about this other function. Yes, it can also do it. That one, you know it. Yes. Yeah, we can take a debate offline. But if when I conclude, Chair, through you, we need to be the researchers, colleagues. We need to be the researchers. And that's one way of upskilling and reskilling. When I say upskill, everything starts as a theory. That is why where we are sitting, there is a debate in the academia to say, the world is moving. Are we moving with the world? Is what we are teaching related to what is we teaching people these things? There should be a transformation in the academia, parade these things into the curriculum. So that when we speak them from a high level of theory, then we pay colleagues to go and practice in the field. So at the moment, even where I'm working, we proposed a 4-year, somebody asked me to talk about the careers and what in the afternoon. But already we have got a 4-year degree that we are conceptualizing. Once it passes the stages, then all these things will be covered. That's what we must start talking about to allow people to be researchers.
Okay. A comment from Tsepiso Sorokolo. It says the implementation of digitization, the factors contributing to this situation. Could it be fear of the unknown or management buy-in? What's the issue here? Or lack of resources in terms of skill? And then there's another one which was asking on whether institutions of learning are adapting to changing their curriculums to include robotics, artificial intelligence, cobotics, artificial intelligence. And then there was another one on
Now I must be a robot now, eh? I must remember.
sorry.
Oh, you are not here, okay. Yeah, but the speaker talks about digitization. It's not what I'm addressing. I'm addressing digital transformation. Remember, digitization is when you use scanners and scan and store somewhere. We don't even know you are scanning. And such systems are not cloud-based or cloud-embedded. They opt to be slow. It's the nature of such resources to be slow. That is why today I'm saying we need change and be baptized in the name of artificial intelligence and digitalization. Because what will be a problem, Chair, in the digitalization will be the issue of how fast is your internet. Internet will slower your downloading or uploading of a file, not the system on its own. So when you upgrade your systems, when you digitalize or you digitally transform the entire archive, it means you must also invest on the issue of internet and data. But if you digitize, yes, you have got to be slow. And good luck. LIS. I think I addressed that one on the LIS, yes. Oral history. Oral history is when we speak and we collect. What do you mean oral history? Okay. No, we can take it up over tea, my leader. Yeah, I think the National Archivist want to say something.
You know, the National Archives is a subject of many studies. We get quite a lot of people who are coming to do some research and so on. But it's very rare to find someone who, having completed their studies, they come back to the archives to say, can I assist you? But when I listen to what you have been saying in terms of traveling to the US and the DM, I tend to get an impression that you are actually willing to assist. And I wanted to confirm that. Because, and of course, I'm looking forward to the study or the paper you are presenting on Friday, because I also hear that you will be talking about the state of readiness, because I think that is what is going to take us forward. But I'm challenging you, not personally, but as an institution, to say, can we work together and modernize the National Archives? It's a challenge you may not respond to now, but you may reflect on it and we can discuss that. Thank you.
Remember, colleagues, 4IR or 5IR is not only artificial intelligence and robotics. We still have Internet of Things embedded into 5IR or into, because what happens here is that even if we speak about cloud computing, Internet of Things, what I like about this subject is that you cannot separate each other. They are interrelated. That is why we even talk about ecosystem. So we need them. So even AI can still be embedded in IoT. There is a paper, my leader, that I'll be presenting at the ESAPICA conference on Internet of Things. I presented already a draft of it in the department seminar. It's a research seminar, I think 2 weeks back. In that paper, I am proposing a development of smart archival app just for retrieval of records. Which means through a sensor, the app can communicate with the sensor that is embedded in a file. Then me sitting here in the archives, I can navigate through my app on the phone or in the phone to the records wherever it is within the archival institution. It will address the issue of access, retrievability. Because the problem, even Professor Rombe commented on it to say she's busy with this other project. Now, she was saying, we can speak all these nice things about archives. We can have records in the archives, but are we going to be able to access them easily? Easily is the key word. That is why I proposed a smart archival app that I think it can be utilized to retrieve or to access archival records in archival institution. And it can be expensive to come up with that app. Even your IT can come up with something. It can't be that expensive, like coming up with a robot. We might not have to implement these things at a go because we cannot make it financially and otherwise. But bit by bit, we can introduce some. As we go, we introduce others until we are now already there. But the debate must continue. Research must keep on going. But I'm ready and I'm available to answer your question.
Thank you. Can we have another round of applause for Dr. Mabilo, please? I see that we're supposed to have tea at 11. I was wondering if the tea is ready. Should we go on tea now? But I think the best thing will be that we move to the next item, which is A20 records. by Mr. Javier, our provincial archivist. So if we can please put our hands together for Mr. Javier.
Yeah. Sure. Hold you. Dumelang Bagolo. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Andrew, otherwise known as Mr. Javier, responsible for archival services in the Northern Cape. But before I move into my presentation, I'd like to indicate that our primary objective as the Department of Sport, Arts and Culture is social cohesion and nation building. Subsequent to that, our mandate finds expression within Chapter 15 of the National Development Plan, that is to improve public services through sport, arts, culture, and heritage. So in essence, what I'm saying, our efforts are geared towards transforming the archives and records management space to better our communities. In addition, we would like to attempt, to create a conducive and enabling environment to attain a knowledge and rich society. So yes, my presentation today will be brief and to the point. I will be speaking on A20 records at the provincial archives at Kotsoflatela Provincial Archives, yes. We provide public access to government records and private collections that are 20 years or more. Equally important, the Kotsoflatela Archives is used for government and private research. General research by the public on estates are the most popular currently. Furthermore, if you need to access and read archival records here at Kotsoflatela, you need to come through to the Kotsoflatela. It is situated in Green Street in the West End, Kimberley. We can only read the records from 7:30 up until 4 p.m. On arrival at the archive, you'll be required to complete an admission card. Furthermore, the reading official will help you to locate the source. Alternatively, the archival material can be found using a manual system. Once you have identified the source, a complete requisition form with the source details in hand and hand it to an official. The official will then bring the source to you. Furthermore, when you make research notes, you will need to bring your pencils and papers. Ballpoints and fountain pens are not allowed when working with archival records. We also provide for you to plug in your laptop when you do your research. What are archives? It's documents created in a normal course of life, an institution or individual, in order for them to function
or kept permanently as to provide a historical record. Provide examples of archival records as paper, photographs, maps and plans, and so on. Who creates archives? It's created by government and public bodies, companies, religious organizations, clubs, families, and so forth. But if we come to the crux of our challenges as a sector, is that we have limited budget to fully activate, records management training projects. There's budget constraints for administrative and operational costs. There's staff shortages. There's a lack of budget for outreach programs. The morale of staff is low. A lack of adequate budget for the maintenance of the archival building. Our envisaged programs is basically to forge partnerships with all our clients for the management and administration of archives and records. It's also to intensify all records management training programs in collaboration with external stakeholders like South African Local Government Association, the Solplaatje University, the University of South Africa, the Department of Education, and so forth. So we're also looking at reprioritizing funds for the maintenance of the archival building. That is the end of my presentation, ladies and gentlemen. Brief and to the point.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Do we have any questions, comments for Mr. Andrew Javier before we let him go? Any comments? No questions. All right, guys. Okay.
Chair.
Let's just relax. No hands. Okay.
Chair, maybe just the last to indicate. Just the last comment.
So I've got an announcement, but before I do that announcement, yeah, it's a big announcement. I'm just going to let Mr. Andrew Javier just to have some closing comments, and then we'll go to the announcement. And after the announcement, I think tea and coffee will be ready in our very small meeting room. So, Javier.
Thank you, Chair. Ladies and gentlemen, mine is just to indicate that the archives and records management space it's a broad and complex process, which requires us to have a fully capacitated human resource and financial resources to make it work. Once you don't have that, you will fail. It also exists to provide strategic direction within the archival space or the organization that you find yourselves in. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are in the business of preserving, historical significant records. So, yes, that is just my comment that I would like to give to you. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you. It seems like we do have a comment.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Javier, I only wanted to know how is the department going to assist the municipalities in terms of the spaces are full at the municipalities with 820 documents. And as I was seeing in your presentation, you were speaking about lack of staff and resources.
Thank you. Javier?
Thank you, Chair. Maybe in response to the question is that we do have transfer procedures for 820 records. If there's intention to transfer 820 records, we encourage our clients to do that in writing, and then we embark on, an assessment exercise at your institution, where we look at the records that qualifies to become, archival records. Then afterwards, approval is granted. We then request you to provide us with some sort of a transfer list or as per your request, and then we take it from there. That is just it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Does that answer the question? Okay. We have another comment here at the back.
Thank you, Mr. Javier, for your presentation. What I would want to know is that do you, as the department, do you have any plans on assisting other departments when coming to records management? The reason why I'm saying this is because you'd find that at the various departments there is a registry or records center, but then there's also empire registries in different offices, meaning records are being kept there. People are opening files on a daily basis, whereas the record center is not even aware of those. So how are you guys going to then assist those challenges at various departments? Thank you.
Sure, Mr. Javier.
Thank you, Chair. As a department, we do have a broad development agenda where we assist, our client officers by providing, training for people who find themselves in the records management space, registries, etc., etc. We provide them with the basic training of registries as well as records management, through Mr. Unati's office. Thank you very much.
Yeah, just to add on that, yes, Mr. Javier is correct that we do provide training, but it's quite basic. But like, I don't know if you were listening earlier on my earlier comment, what I said is that the biggest challenge with that, it's people and culture. People and culture, because people are the ones that are going to change this thing. The behavior, that's what I'm talking about. So as much as behavior doesn't change, you'll have the same problems over and over again. This one will never change. As long as behavior does not change, nothing's going to change. This is just my experience, and maybe I might be wrong. I hope I'm not. But it seems like behavior is the biggest problem when it comes to this thing. We do have another comment and question. Let me just note the people. I just want to note so that we can be able to close, so that we can keep it short and concise. We are running behind time. So I've noted you, sir, ma'am. And that's it. We're closing after that. Any ideas, questions? No one? Going once, twice? Valid.
Thank you. It's short and sweet. What do you do with electronic records? How do you handle them? And how do you arrange and describe them? And how do you make them available for research once you got them? Thanks.
Mr. Javier?
Thank you, Juan, for the question. Our system is manual. We don't deal with electronic records. I do note that there's a paradigm shift. The landscape is changing. We're moving towards digital age, and it's becoming a problem, Johan. So what I would like to indicate, Johan, is that we find ourselves in a difficult situation where the resources are not available to move within to that space. So that is where we are as a sector. Thanks.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Mr. Javier. Excuse me. My question is more to do with when you talk about 820 records, these are now our archival records that you are talking about bringing into the repository. And I think generally, I've gone to provincial archives across the country, and the general impression that I get is that the focus is more in just bringing the records here, and they sit here. And so I'm more interested in whether there is a rethinking, because in the past, the focus was more on outreach, marketing archives, and records management, because that's where you actually see real work of archives happening. But that's not actually the work of archives. The work of archives is to actually care for what you have here, because that's one of the main reasons why we exist. We are the custodians of those historical records. So I would be very interested in your take in what is the way forward for the provincial archives. For me to be able to come here and say, actually the provincial archives is now really looking after the archival records that have been transferred to their custody. Thank you.
Thanks. Do you have a reply to that?
Briefly, just to respond to Alexio, my take on this one is for us to proactively engage, our stakeholders and, collaborate, have an integrated approach, a synergistic approach where we deal with this problem hands-on. Thank you.
Thank you. Is your question answered? Before we move to the next, you okay, right?
Hi, I'm Vida Doyle from Africana. I just have one question. I saw in the presentation that you only deal with records that's 20 years old. I'm not sure if I misunderstood. But what I would like to know, since you are the provincial archives, what happened to the older records? Where are they? Who are looking after them? And are there any way they're getting stored, restored, preserved, conserved, anything?
Did you get the question?
Thank you, Chair. Can I respond?
Yes, I was asking, did you get the question?
Yes. Maybe just to indicate is that we do house 830 records as well within our custody, and we do care for those records as well. Thank you very much.
Africana, you happy? Do you want to elaborate, or are we good for now? Okay. In the interest of time, that was the last question. So now, like I said, I've got an announcement just to make. I know it's cold, very cold, and I wouldn't like to keep you here for longer than we have to. So just in the interest of time, so now we are going to break for tea. There's a number of us here. So the time now, it's 11:20. I think to be quite fair, 20 minutes should be enough for everyone to go through. Plus minus, I think. Because we are sort of a medium-sized group. That's the first announcement. And then the other announcement is that, the unfortunate one is that our bathrooms, it looks like they've run out of water. I did see some work here, I think last night. Some people working on the pipes and everything like that. I'd just like to make you aware that the bathrooms actually, I think the water, someone has closed the water to fix some piping. Those are the bad news. And then the good news, we need people who can sing now. Are you ready? I've never been a good singer myself. I can only sing in the shower or when I'm doing other activities. Yeah, not those activities, drinking, I mean. Yeah, so today is Ms. Fumani Tladi's birthday. She's our sign language interpreter. Ms. Tladi, can you please come to the front? Can you please sing for Ms. Tladi, please? It's her birthday today. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Tladi. Happy birthday to you. Hip, hip. Hip, hip. This is the lady. Guys, we're going out for drinks. So if you want to join us, please don't. Okay, tea served.
Yatole minyaka ngalboni. Yatole minyaka ngalboni sokala. Yatole minyaka ngalboni. Yatole minyaka ngalboni sokala. Zomtole nglome manje. Zomtole nglome manje disogala. Zomtole nglome manje. Zomtole nglome manje disogala. Yatole minyaka ngalboni. Yo yo yo. Yatole minyaka ngalboni sogala. Ay ay ay. Yatole minyaka ngalboni. Yo yo yo. Yatole minyaka ngalboni sogala. Uzomtole nglome mlanje.